Besides learning about the distressful factors that can reduce our satisfaction and productivity, we also need to understand about what organizations can do to improve motivation to work effectively and generate satisfaction with the work accomplished. I like to define job satisfaction as the reactions and feelings one has to the activities, environment, and consequences of work. One way of doing this is to change the inputs and the initial conditions of the system. In this case, it would mean that there needs to be a consistency between the motivations and capabilities of the person and the job. Organizations traditionally have done an inconsistent, if not poor, job selecting the right person for the right position. First of all, management rarely has a thorough understanding of the behaviors and competencies required for a job that may substantially change in the future. Second, potential employees may not be able to ask questions or thoroughly investigate what a job entails on a day-to-day basis. Especially young employees may have had little job experience, and that experience may have little to do with their aspirations. As a result, this combination of unclear expectations is often a recipe for selecting the wrong person for the wrong job. Though much can be done with paper and pencil tests, many organizations are using aspects of a realistic job preview. In a preview, potential employees are exposed to the organization's practices, mission, work location, and an aspect of the work itself. For example, potential employees at a call center may receive a small amount of training in how to handle a call. They are given a phone, and the organization evaluates how the potential employee responds to several planned situations. They may also receive a briefing on company benefits and policies, a presentation on organizational values, and are shown samples of performance appraisals. One of our clients in the call center industry used a realistic job preview. Potential employees were scheduled for training, for which they were paid. Interestingly enough, 25% of potential employees did not show up for the training. Home Depot, a large American corporation providing home improvement supplies, uses pre-recorded realistic job previews shown to potential sales associates. In it, they provide potential employees a summary of typical job duties, helping customers and solving problems. But Home Depot just doesn't say how wonderful it is to work there. Instead, they show prospective employees, by example, that they will be handling many customers at a time, that it requires much standing and moving, and that sometimes customers take more than a few minutes to service, and that subject matter knowledge of cabinetry, paints, and other home repair activities is required. They see a line of customers anxiously waiting for help, while a sales associate is on the phone helping another customer. As you can guess, sales associates must have good customer relations skills in addition to the usual aspects of home repair. Organizations can assist employees in reframing by helping them prepare for their new job with extensive training once they are hired. And because change on the job can be nearly continuous in some positions, training must be considered an integral part of the job function, where perhaps 10% of their time should be spent learning additional aspects of their jobs and preparing for upcoming changes. This is especially true in jobs and organizations undergoing significant and speedy technological change. With the advent of distance on-demand learning, employees can take at least some of this training at their workspace. Some of you may object to this because you are thinking, well, if they know so much about the job, then maybe they don't want it. That is exactly the point. It is better for all concerned for potential employees to self-select themselves out of the hiring process as early as possible. The amount of time, attention, energy, and training that goes into a new employee is wasted if they quit soon after they start the job. One of the other changes organizations might make to improve satisfaction and productivity is improve how managers deal with employees. Because one of the strongest predictors of someone leaving a job is what they think about their supervisor. More specifically, how well the supervisor encourages them, promotes teamwork, listens to their concerns, and provides the tools and resources needed by the employees to do their job. Organizations have three main methods for improving management style: management training, mentoring, and 360 feedback with coaching. Management training involves both academic knowledge and practical exercises in the basics of supervision. Instruction in company policy, giving and receiving feedback, how to manage a project, developing a performance and learning plan, steps in the disciplining process, performance appraisals and benefits, use of the organization's information system, etc. While this instruction is necessary for management to function at a basic level, there is little opportunity for on-the-job feedback and improvement about how they deal with people. This is where mentoring and 360 feedback come in. Mentoring is a systematic process of pairing a novice manager or employee with someone more experienced and willing to help. Though this often happens informally, companies can organize such mentoring to greater effect. Under the name of Structured Knowledge Transfer, Ericsson, a major telecommunications provider, uses such a process. After initial training, a person assigned to a mentoring role works on a specific schedule to improve the skill set of the new employee in a structured, step-by-step fashion. In this way, the mentor covers all aspects of the job the new employee must learn, rather than assisting an employee on an as-needed basis. 360 feedback uses surveys and interviews of the manager's peers, subordinates, and boss, and combines it with the manager's perception of themselves. This 360-degree view of the person gives a much fuller picture of his or her strengths and weaknesses. This information is fed back to the manager and occasionally to his or her boss. Coaching, either done by a professional coach or a trained supervisor, can use this information to improve the manager's weak points. In addition to matching the person to the job and improving management style, organizations can also redesign the job for increased satisfaction and productivity. To improve the motivational and satisfactional characteristics of the job, organizations need to look at 5 dimensions of a job. Skill variety, increasing the skill set to accomplish a task. Task identity, increasing the importance of the task to a person's self-worth. Task significance, increasing the effect of the job's task on the organization's performance. Autonomy, giving the employees greater authority in conducting their work. And feedback, providing more explicit data on how well employees work. As these increase, increased motivation, satisfaction, and productivity occur. Organizations use 2 main techniques to improve these characteristics: job enrichment and job enlargement. In job enrichment, authority, responsibility, and feedback are increased. In job enlargement, additional tasks are given to the job to make it less routine or mundane. Principles of job enlargement and enrichment include removing unnecessary controls from the job so that employees have more discretion in how to perform these tasks. Assign a complete natural scope of work so the sense of accomplishment increases. Giving employees additional authority, and provide work progress reports to the lowest level employees, not just management. Manufacturing positions are especially amenable to job enrichment and enlargement. This is because so many jobs have been reduced to repetitive motions, performed many times over one day. Instead of performing just one task, for example, tightening bolts on a car chassis, workers instead can be teamed together to produce whole sections of the vehicle. Manufacturing companies often use job enrichment and enlargement techniques in so-called cell manufacturing methods. Regardless of this, service organizations and even school districts have used these methods with success. One of our clients used job enlargement methods to increase the amount of authority line employees have in their work. Instead of merely inspecting parts to assure their quality, employees were given the added task of having a say in who works with them, and even having an influence on who their next boss will be. This was enthusiastically received by employees who had little cause to complain about the new employees working beside them. What this also implies is that the pay structures of organizations also need to change. Having a fixed wage or being paid by the piece may no longer work because it does not motivate nor encourage people to develop their skills. Instead, some organizations, including Ralston Purina and the University of Miami, have implemented a pay-for-knowledge system where employees, after undergoing training, are given pay raises after demonstrating additional capabilities when performing their job. Companies that have used this approach include General Mills, Northern Telecom, and Honeywell. I've heard concerns that so much training and focus on the workforce would just encourage them to leave and use their skills elsewhere. In this mode of thinking, management should keep employees from learning too much so they have little chance of getting a job elsewhere. I can assure you this will happen. However, studies have shown that if you wish to retain the most capable employees, continually improving their skills is one way to encourage them to stay. If training and skill acquisition is not a priority to management, the best and the brightest will leave and work for those organizations where it is a priority. The best and brightest are interested in growth and opportunity, not doing small jobs while kept in ignorance. To also tighten the coupling between effort and achievement, employees might also have an additional portion of their pay tied to the performance or profitability of his or her work group or company. This is known as gain sharing or profit sharing. As an example of how gain sharing works, consider a company producing rigid and steering differential axles for tractors. In its records, the company determined that for every $1 million of good product output, it required 10,000 worker hours. Under gain sharing, the next $1 million of axle output and shipment was produced with only 9,000 hours of work. If the average wage rate is $10 an hour, the 1,000 hours saved is worth $10,000. That is a gain to be shared equally between the workforce and the company. In General Tire's 2,000-employee plant in Mount Vernon, Illinois, a gain-sharing plan has generated $30 million in savings over a 5-year period, $20 million of which was paid out to workers in the form of bonuses, while the company profited by $10 million. In a study done for the American Management Association, companies with successful gain-sharing plans had ancillary benefits as well. Besides improving productivity and quality, on-time deliveries rose to almost 100%. In addition, employee grievances dropped by 84%, and absenteeism decreased by 61%. Such programs, however, have to be carefully designed to avoid unintended consequences. One of our clients had installed a gain-sharing program where any amounts saved in work-related injuries would be shared with the employees. Unfortunately, employees developed a norm of never going to the doctor and never taking a sick day. This temporarily increased payments to employees, but serious illness and injury were not addressed. As we have seen, there are a variety of tools and techniques that organizations can use to improve satisfaction and productivity. matching the person to the job, using realistic job previews, training, improving management style, redesigning the job, and implementing gain sharing and profit sharing. Though such ideas may be significantly different from how organizations work now, we must all realize that the old relationships around the patron and iron rice bowl are rusting away, and new concepts will have to be implemented to take their place. I invite you all to be creative and persistent in promoting a workplace and society of respect and tolerance, one which leads us to higher levels of performance, satisfaction, and happiness. Thank you.